Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I am throwing my lubrication bottle off the side of the table and catching it just barely, and we're going to go ahead and disassemble this guy. This is the WE Knives Wisp. Interesting knife we got right here. And by the way, I apologize for all the screaming. One of the neighbor's children appears to actually be a ring wraith. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I do know that the ring calls to them periodically all throughout the afternoon, morning, and evening, and they scream and they scream and they scream. In fact, I'm having what I often refer to as a vasectomy moment, which is just like, oh my God, if my tubes weren't already tied, I'd be tying them again. That kind of thing. So, yeah, anyways, that's beside the point. What I'm going to go ahead and do here is use this T8 driver. And by the way, this is a different driver than I usually use. This is by Alexander Peshkov, Russian jeweler type. But it is sent to me by a viewer. I'm trying it for review, as well as a T8 bit here, a wee hot T8 bit. And go ahead and pop those out. By the way, you'll note this is all Torx screws, which is great. WE Knives has moved away from the stars, which is even better. And moved away from the stars makes it sound like some kind of a terrible value judgment in like a, sci-fi universe. But whatever it is, they've moved away from stupid screws, and there we go. And so now we've taken everything apart. A couple of things to point out here. Backspacer is carbon fiber from the looks of it. So, nice. Can't argue with that. The stop pin is on the other side, so the blade spins completely. Then the usual here. In many ways, I actually just finished disassembling the WE Knives Vapor here. These knives are practically identical in terms of they're practically identical. All right. In terms of their overall construction, this is one of those disassembly videos that I'm filming only because it seems like tradition at this point in time. And because, some beginner might, struggle, and I hate to, not have it there. But anyways, so there you go. Just clean off the bearings here a little bit. It is a WE knife, and you can tell that by the fact that it is anodized to look a little bit like a toy. I don't quite get that. I mean, it's fine, different grinds for different kinds, but their color scheme is very distinctive. They tend to use these purples and greens and whatnot, and I don't mind the purples and the greens, but the way they do them just always comes across looking very, like I said, toy-like. Again, fine, have fun. But I don't know that it's a strategy that's going to always pay off for them. Whatever it is, it is. A couple of things to highlight here. Again, mostly for the people who may be unfamiliar, this guy has a little shelf on the back of the pivot screw here, and that interacts with this little shelf right here, and that means that this pivot is actually not free spinning once it is installed. And so make sure that you've got those things aligned properly in order for that to happen. It's a good idea. I'm glad to see him doing it. Next thing, I'm going to go ahead and use some 10-weight nano oil here, and like I said, I'm using the nano oil just because it seems to work better than anything else I've tried. Not by a huge margin, but, Dewa Real Oil, etc. I got a whole video on high-end knife lubrication, but nevertheless, that's what I'm using at the moment for the lubrication. It's probably the thing I do that I get the most hate for on forums and whatnot. For some reason, there are a lot of people who dislike this particular product, or just find it, hopelessly overpriced. And it's pricey, I'll give you that. But I am really yet to find anything better. The moment I do, I'll switch, but haven't found it yet, so there we go. Go ahead and put that on there. Slightly over-lubricating things, but that's how I roll in the universe. That's how it is. Go ahead and drop this other bearing down onto there. Like I said, really, there's not that much going on here. I mean, it's borderline silly to do the disassembly, but here we are, so we're doing it. Now what I need to do is, since I kind of took this apart with not wanting to remove the pocket clip on the other side there, I'll be kind of setting it down a little weirdly, but I'll slide the stop pin into position there, and then get these back spaces. God, that was easy. Get the back spaces into position, and then we're freaking good to go here. All I need to do now is start tightening things down. As I do that, as I tighten things down, I'm actually going to use a little bit of a thread locker here. I'm going to use a blue Loctite here on a stick and just kind of put a little tiny touch of it in there, and then fasten this in. if you'll note, my pivot is kind of sticking out a little bit on this side. That means I've come off of that shelf. And so I kind of need to rotate things a little bit. Maybe loosen things up slightly. Rotate things just a little bit until I slide back onto the shelf area. Get everything locked back into place. There we go. Is that it? There we go. Hear that click? Yeah, that was what I was after. All right, now I'm going to tighten down a little further. Not like super heavy tight, but just tight enough. Keep it in position. Here I'm seeing some residue from the old thread locker, so I'll go ahead and clean that off using just a cloth here. There's still a little bit of it left on there, but it'll do the trick. And I'll go ahead and apply a little bit more to it. And we'll pop this in here. You know, WE Knives has really come a long way. This is neither here nor there, but I feel like they really have. You know, initially, they had the stupid screws. I mean, the build quality has always been there, but, and I gather they were doing a lot of OEM work for a lot of people before they became their own brand, but they've gotten out of the star screws, which is stellar. They're doing such nice stuff. And this is another nice example of it, because practically speaking, it's really nicely made. There's a lot of freaking joy to be found in this guy, and so I gotta applaud that. Everything seems to snap back together. You know, things made by them tend to be very, very nice, and they're good at grinding blades too, which is my main objection with Rayot, because they tend to grind blades very, very thick. That's really my only main objection there, and the only reason I prefer WE slightly. Once Rayot grinds a little more aggressively, oh man. We will be a lucky community, but for the moment, that's kind of where I would rank that. What I'm doing now is just sort of tweaking the pivot. My goal here is to get it as loose as I can get it without there being any kind of blade play. The blade is able to wiggle back and forth on either dimension. Yeah, just a little bit of play, so I'll tighten up just a bit further. And there we go. Beautiful. Alrighty, so there we go. We have wisped this away into a new state of cleanliness. That didn't even make sense. And everything seems good to go. Easy construction, nice. Can't argue with that. Hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.